The resignation of the Speaker of the House of Commons in Canada is an extraordinary oversight, or an expression of an extraordinary oversight. So Vladimir Zelenskyy delivered an address to the House of Commons on Friday, and at the same time, Canadian lawgivers gave the 98-year-old Yaroslav Hunka a standing ovation when Speaker Anthony Rota drew attention to him. Rota introduced Hunka as a war hero who fought for the 1st Ukrainian Division, except that the 1st Ukrainian Division was run by the SS, a voluntary unit under the command of the Nazis, and he was involved in Jewish persecution and Nazi activity. It is extraordinary that somebody should have been so remiss, so vague in his efforts of due diligence. It's a thing which rightly causes embarrassment. The Speaker did an honourable thing in resigning, and I wish more people in British politics would recognise the honour of taking that step. I also find it extraordinary that Yaroslav Hunka could have thought that it was appropriate for him to appear. Apparently Rota invited and recognised Hunka without informing the government or the delegation from Ukraine. Again, it's incredibly embarrassing. The Friends of the Simon Wiesenthal Centre for Holocaust Studies said in a statement that the incident has left a stain on Canada's venerable legislature with profound implications both in Canada and globally. The incident has compromised all 333 members of Parliament and has also handed a propaganda victory, and this is probably the worst thing, to Russia, distracting from what was a momentously significant display of unity between Canada and Ukraine. It's caused great pain to Canada's Jewish community, Holocaust survivors, veterans and other victims of the Nazi regime. And the Dani Dayan, the head of Israel's Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial Museum, called the ovation a deplorable moment that was a result of ignorance about the facts of the Holocaust. And there are people now from Poland, for example, demanding Hunka's extradition. The Speaker's office said that it was Hunka's son who contacted Rota's local office to see if it was possible if he could attend Zelenskyy's speech. But, what was he thinking of? Members of all parties rose to applaud Hunka, unaware of the details of who he was. Puppets. Extraordinary. In Moscow, of course, the Kremlin was then able to say that it was outrageous that Hunka received a standing ovation. Yes. And Putin has painted the enemies of the Kremlin, has painted his enemies in Ukraine as neo-Nazis, although Zelenskyy is Jewish and lost relatives to the Nazis in the Holocaust. This is such an own goal and such a moment of utter stupidity. And it would be less stupid if people didn't make such an effort to try to avoid moments of stupidity. But, so when they occur and they provide a propaganda coup for an evil and overpoweringly evil administration in the Kremlin, I find it deeply sad. Deeply sad.